Baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals are still at 500 in late August, and yet trying to end a 7-game losing streak today in their final game with the Nationals. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. It's been quite a ride. The Royals started 17-10. They were in first place at the end of April. They went 8-20 in May and fell to 9 games below 500. They put the pieces back together in June and July, but then lost 5 going into the All-Star break. 17-3 after the All-Star break, and now they've lost 7 in a row. But one thing that's been steady since opening day has been the pitching of Ervin Santana, and he'll take the mound today against a former teammate of his with the Angels, Dan Herron. Now, Santana's 8-7, but if the season ended today, that ERA, 3.13, would be the best of his major league career. And Dan Herron at one point this year lost 8 straight starts, and now he's won his last 4 decisions. As we welcome in Rex Hudler, who saw a lot of Ervin Santana in Southern California, have you ever seen him take away wins and losses, pitch better than he has this year?
No, Ryan. He is at the top of his game right now. And really, the whole difference between his Angel days and now his new Royals days are his mound presence, the way he carries himself. And really, that's one of the biggest non-stats there really are for a pitcher. Hitters, sure, they have to see the breaking ball, which has been off the table and devastating at times for Ervin this year. But really, they watch the guy's demeanor. They watch how he carries himself. They see a guy with no emotion like Ervin, and they're trying to figure him out. So that's really an extra pitch, the mound presence, and that's been the big difference with him, Ryan. Great to see him and how the fans respond to him at the K.
Well, we'll see how that demeanor carries him today, trying to slow down the Nationals. They have scored 18 runs in the first 2 games of this series.
Since 2010, well, Jared Weaver has the most wins as an Angel. Ervin Santana, number 2 with 37, and Dan Herron, number 3 with 33. And both of them will be going head-to-head here at Kauffman Stadium today. Joe Goldberg out in right field. Dan Herron warming up behind me. Ervin Santana on the other side. Now, The Royals had a crack at both of these pitchers in the offseason, and they made the choice to go with Ervin Santana.
We knew that he had a tremendous slider, tremendous competitor. We just always liked his stuff. We felt that, he still had more productive years ahead of him, and of course he's come in this year and proved that to be true.
Well, both of these guys have been good as of late, and for Santana all year long. And as for what Rex was saying before about him being calm, Ned Yost comparing his demeanor, Ervin Santana's, to Tom Glavine's. The Magic Man takes the hill, coming up next.
Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play the Powerball and Mega Million Scratchers game to win $100,000 or more. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And the classic car shows seem to be following the Royals.
Nothing wrong with that. Those cars are beautiful out in that parking lot. And some of them made a little victory lap around the K here. So much wanted to go down there and check them out. But what a special time it is. And for people, that's a great hobby. And then especially to share it here with the baseball fans at the K, I think the two go hand in hand.
Saw the same thing last weekend in Detroit.
Look at that.
For a whole
hydraulics.
Several miles of road in between Detroit and the Royals Hotel, displaying classic cars like that. I don't know if that was by design or not.
Yeah, those are hydraulics. You can push a button and that thing can raise all the way up. It can come down. You know, I know that from Southern Cal. All the dragging.
You Southern California guys, let me tell you.
This is a beautiful thing, man. Love to see the cars.
Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. Well, this has not been a good year for the Nationals compared to last year when they won 98 games, and the chief culprit has been the offense. But you certainly couldn't tell that, as Davey Johnson's team looks a lot like last year's team, the way they've been scoring runs in this series. 11 runs in game 1 on Friday and 7 runs in the game last night. And here's how he's lined up today.
You know, when you catch a team at a certain time, that really timing is everything. The Washington Nationals are red hot, then the Royals are not. And we've seen the adverse effect and the other side of it, where the Royals have been hot and they've dominated. So how you change that is you change it with starting pitching, especially a hot offense like the Nationals have. Irvin Santana has got to miss some bats. I love that opponent average right there against. Okay, 237. That's 10th lowest in the American League as far as pitchers goes. It's really a good number. And also, he's been holding them down with the home runs too. He's nothing like he was last year. He's given up 19, 12 to righties, 7 to left-handers. Keep the ball in the yard, you got a chance to win. And defensively, spectacular. Love talking about him. Never gets old, especially about their left fielder, Alex Gordon. 11th outfield assist last night, but 50 all-time now in his career in just a short amount of time in left field. Pretty amazing. We'll see what that total ends up being like. Maybe Frenchie-like.
Today is KU Day at the K. And later on, we're going to be visiting with KU head football coach Charlie Weiss, who also joined us in the booth last year. Great to have the mascots out here today, although I would rather be wearing what I'm wearing today than that.
Well, how about yesterday, what you were wearing? Are you okay with that yesterday? Did you get over it?
Yeah, once a year.
I think it was a blast. Great to share with the players on the field and their uniform change. It was really a lot of fun. But now we got to move on into serious things and matters, and that is trying to hold down these Washington Nationals if you're Irvin Santana. They got to get in the win column.
And there's a good start as Denard Span is out with just 2 pitches.
Got to somehow find a way to get Irvin Santana some runs and get back in the win column, especially with their team right now at 64 and 64. Can't drop below that. If you do, oh well. But they got a chance. Irvin, good sliders to finish guys off. 2-seam fastball set him up. Change-ups, and he'll elevate once in a while with a 4-seamer, but throw strikes and get ahead.
Ryan Zimmerman has 1 hit. He has walked 3 times. This is not Santana's first start against the Nationals. In fact, it's his 4th career start against Washington. So the Angels and the Nationals hooked up quite a bit in interleague play. No record for Santana in those starts. An ERA right around 3. Dyson backpedals onto the warning track and retires Ryan Zimmerman. So 4 pitches, 2 down.
Early countouts are always a bonus, especially if you want to go deep into this game and keep the rest of that bullpen out there. That both bullpens really have been used a lot.
Bryce Harper's had an impressive series. 3 hits, 4 RBIs. He had a big 3-run double in game 1 on Friday, helping the Nationals tie the game at 6 after the Royals had a 6-0 lead. And he is not going to take a look at an Irvin Santana pitch. He's up there swinging away. He's hit in 7 straight and hitting almost 400 during that streak.
He's a baseball player. You can tell by his socks. Sometimes, you know, you see guys with their socks all pulled up, old style, bloused at the knees. I mean, you know, that's just an old time look. And he's a throwback for a 20-year-old, if there is such a thing.
Just foul off the right field line. 1-2. You had a chance to visit with him before the game today.
I did. You know, it's a chance, you know, to be able to meet players that got to go do it. He's young, want to shake his hand, and when I did, find out a lot about a guy when you shake hands with him. How strong they are, number one, but really the way they look at you, all that thing, the respect thing, it was there. Kid was very humble, very quiet, He asked me about me. Did I play? Yes, how long? Very respectful.
Santana has the slider working, at least in the first inning. Gets the Nationals in order on just 8 pitches.
Irvin wasn't showing him much respect there. He got to go.
KU Day at Kauffman Stadium, and a hot day at the ballpark. I guess we're going to have an August after all. It's a good year for KU sports. Men's and women's basketball, women's track won a national championship. Good year for women's volleyball. We'll be visiting with Charlie Weiss, head football coach, later on today. So here are the Royals against right-hander Dan Herron, and Salvador Perez is back in the lineup, and yet Ned Yost is going to keep Eric Hosmer batting third.
Yeah, I like that. I think Hosmer is a number 3 hitter and a number 4 hitter in his future, depending on the players around him. However, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to try to figure out this professional pitcher, Dan Herron. He's a veteran. He's a guy who's had a rough start here with his first year with the team in the first half. He's settled down in the second half, and he's really become the pitcher that they hoped that they got from the Angels. Cuts his fastball. He's going to live on the edges, on the corners, occasional curveballs, but mainly split fingers. Split fingers and fastballs is the report on him. He's got a couple of different speeds to his split fingers. He'll manipulate the batter on both sides of the plate. He'll try. Keep it out of the middle, because he has given up some homers, 23. And he's got a little hesitation in his delivery, as you just saw. So some of the guys that haven't faced him before will maybe want to see a few pitches, kind of see what his ball's doing, seeing how they can pick it up out of his hand.
Hit well to right field. Warm day, the ball is carrying, gone. Alex Gordon to lead off the bottom of the first. So you mentioned the home runs, and that's the 24th allowed by Dan Herron, the most in the National League.
10th, given up to a left-handed batter. 1-0. That away, Alex. Drive that bus from the very first part of this game here. That's a beautiful thing. He got underneath it. He used his hands. He was able to catch it underneath that ball. Got some carry on a nice warm day, Ryan. Beautiful start. Keep it up.
Not a place where you would normally expect a souvenirs. Alex hit it into the second row of the Pepsi porch out in right field. There you go. That's your kind of celebration, Hud.
Oh, yeah, look at he's geeked. He should be pumped. Look at him. I love that.
It's the 11th time in Alex's career he has led off with a home run.
Nothing better than rounding the bases, saying to yourself, 1-0. Beautiful.
You take care of a hit, You take care of a run scored and an RBI.
Touch them all. First time up. You know you're going to have a good day.
And now Bonifacio is on with a walk. And Herron does not walk many.
No, he's a strike thrower. But it is the first inning, Ryan. And it's not a broken record, but yes, it's very difficult for a veteran or a rookie in the first inning to kind of figure out what they're doing. Wilson Ramos, okay, he's got a good throwing arm. And that's important when you're facing the Royals, who lead the American League in stolen bases. They're really good. Okay, now defensively, they've had better years. They're 90 errors this year. That's down at the lower third in the National League.
And now Hosmer had a good swing and fouls it straight back.
He had a rip there on that breaking ball.
Ned Yost does not like to talk about the lineup day after day. And what he especially doesn't like to talk about is tomorrow and next week and next month. But when Hosmer batted third yesterday, Bonifacio was running and he stopped. That's why Ramos reacted that way, 0-2. When Hosmer batted third yesterday, everyone was asking about that, and he pointed out Salvador Perez is not in the lineup, so he had to fill that hole with somebody, and why not Hosmer? Well, do you think he'll hit third after Perez gets back? Well, that's the kind of stuff that Ned doesn't like to talk about. However, Salvador Perez is back, and Eric Hosmer is still hitting third.
A lot of managers don't want to tip their hand to anyone, even in-house broadcasters.
Bonifacio just got a huge break, and Hosmer hits it past Desmond and into shallow center field. And he will keep going.
Well, I'll tell you, speed really puts pressure on defenses, and there's a good example. After Hosmer, okay, watch Bonifacio trying to pick a good jump. He got it with no problem, but Hosmer undressed Desmond, the shortstop, with this hard line drive. Kicks off his glove. He looks behind him. Eddie Rodriguez gives him the green light. He keeps on coming. That's a beautiful thing when you can score from first base on an infield single almost. He got to the outfield. Boy, look at how he runs the bases. I mean, he barely tipped third base. I mean, and he did it the unconventional way. He hit the outside of third base going home. That's very tough to do. But those feet are moving so quickly. He did a nice job. Hosmer got him a ribby on that.
So a home run, a walk, a single with an RBI, and now Billy Butler. And now Hosmer is running, and he is out at second base. The Royals are really trying to put the heat on the Nationals in the first inning. It's just the fourth time this year that Hosmer has been thrown out.
And it took a perfect throw to get him. We just highlighted the work of Wilson Ramos. Told you he's got a good arm. Perfect throw right there on the perfect side of the base. Just barely got him. Pedal to the metal early.
2-1 on Billy.
Makes that guy happy, Rusty Kuntz. He's in charge of the base running, the outfielders. Always helps him with the times that the pitcher has coming home. First base coach can really make a difference.
Today's Toyota League leaders. Highest batting averages in the American League this month. Billy is fifth. We'll be seeing Brett Laurie on the next road trip when the Royals go to Toronto after a series in Minnesota.
Yeah, talk about live wires. Brett Laurie's one. He's got a lot of ability.
Got the call. Billy didn't like it. Home plate umpire is Mike Everett.
Okay, that's sneaky. Good call. Actually, really tough pitch right there. That's a pitcher's pitch. There's not a hitter alive that can square that up and put that in play. Now, you might foul it off, but Billy wasn't thrilled. I forgot. Did I say there's not a hitter alive that could hit that? I forgot about Miguel Cabrera.
You said square it up.
Oh.
There are plenty of guys who can hit it. But that was similar to the pitch that he hit for the walk-off home run on the road trip, right?
I'm telling
That
you.
pitch from Aaron Crow that was 97 and away.
Yep. And he hit another home run today, by the way, which I think he's going to catch Davis. I think he's really smelling that second consecutive Triple Crown is Miguel Cabrera.
Which has never been done. Back-to-back Triple Crowns. One and two on Moustakas.
Split finger's a pitch that not a lot of big leaguers have for some reason, because it's a little bit stressful on the elbow. Because when you spread those two fingers on the side of that ball, it puts a little pressure on the outside of the elbow. But Herron's always had it, and it's a good one. There's another one. He's got a couple different speeds to it, and it makes up for not having a changeup because it's a similar action. However, it goes down and it can go away. It kind of will sail and sink. So there's two different movements to it, which can really confuse a hitter. But not overpowering. There was a time that he threw harder, but now he's trying to pitch smarter.
Inside again, 3-2. A good day for a snow cone, that's for sure. Especially if you're sitting out in the sun.
Sure is.
Right center field, Harper coming up, and he'll have to play it on a bounce. That's a third hit in the inning and the fourth base runner for the Royals.
So there's a saying in baseball that goes mostly from hitters. Hit it how he threw it. So there's a little off-speed split finger, and Moose says, all right, I'll kind of just lob one out there too. Now Harper, we saw him make a spectacular catch last night diving, but this one was a little bit out of his range.
So Salvador Perez returns to the lineup, and he hit sixth. Got the night off last night. The Royals are still in that stretch of games, 44 in 44 days. So Ned Yo's trying to find spots to give Perez a break. And he crushes it into left field. Back goes Moore. It is gone into the bullpen. And the Royals, for the second time in this series, hit 2 home runs in the first inning.
Salvador Perez says, you know what, Ned, I don't care where you hit me in the lineup. I'm going to produce for you. And that's what you do. Look for something that's elevated. Try to get the barrel on it. And when it's an off-speed pitch, you're going to be out in front of it. Beautiful home run by Salvi. His 6th home run of the season. And 50th and 51st RBI attached to it. Now, there's not going to be too many Kansas City Royals players jumping up and down, because in game 1 they scored 6 in the first 2 innings. And they lost. So look, it's a long way to go, but that's a nice little cushion for Irvin Santana.
And now Darren Herron is allowed 25 home runs, adding to his highest total in the National League. Check swing foul from David Lowe. And Herron himself has only recorded 1 out, and that was the strikeout against Billy Butler, which was a very close pitch. The other out was Ramos throwing out Hosmer at second base. Tough play for Zimmerman, and brings it down with the glove shading his eyes. The Royals send 7 to the plate. They hit 2 home runs. Alex started the inning with his 14th. Perez caps the inning with his 6th.
Pilot to Bombardier. Open up those Bombay doors on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, yesterday, as we saluted the Negro Leagues, the Royals and Nationals wore special old-style uniforms, and you can bid online. Some of those game-used jerseys yesterday from the 1942 Grays and the 1942 Monarchs, including Salvador Perez, Billy Butler, Steven Strasburg, and Bryce Harper. And all proceeds of this auction will go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
All right. Folks, go online. I wonder who, they had a chance to start yesterday. I wonder who's the hot jersey. Because there's always one or two out there that go faster than others. We'll have to find that out for you.
Jason Worth started on Friday and ended up with the game-winning RBIs. And down looking on a fastball over the inside corner. So Santana, armed with a 4-0 lead, comes out throwing strikes in the second and has his second strikeout.
And as slow a walk as Worth is showing you right there, he don't want to go, but he's got to. That fastball, it got up on him in a hurry. This guy's a gamer. Hates getting called out. Slow walk back to the dugout.
He also has a bad foot. The reason he wasn't in the lineup last night, he has an infection to his right foot.
Yep, that might be another reason he's walking slow.
Desmond to the right field line, and David Lowe into the corner, into the shadows to make a foul ball catch. And Santana's retired the first 5.
Strike thrower. Very calm, great demeanor about him. He's got perfect mound presence. And you could never say that about him before. Broadcasted his first 8 years in the big leagues when I was out there with the Angels. And he had a softness about him around the mound. His head would shake when he walked off the mound. Really kind of a funny look. His teammates nicknamed him El Maneo, and that's Spanish for the shaker. Okay, but no more shaking. He's cleaned up his mound presence. He gets on that slab. Less than 10 seconds between pitches. Believe me, that's a sign of confidence. Doesn't allow him to think, doesn't allow the hitter to think.
And now LaRoche is trying to slow him down. He was hoping that Mike Everett, home plate umpire, would give him more time in between pitches. 1-2.
You time him. He's less than 10 seconds, lots of times. And it's up to the hitter to slow him down and to hit on your terms when you're ready. Some hitters think they have to get in there right away. They fall into a pitcher's trap. But he takes a rip. I love his swing, LaRoche. He doesn't get cheated. He's got a nice little natural uppercut to his swing. And you mentioned it. He's had plenty of big home run seasons. 10 years in the big leagues, this guy. Stands straight up.
Ooh. Hit hard into right center field, and Dyson plays it on a couple of bounces, and that's the Nationals' first runner.
Kind of uncomfortable for some hitters to stand straight up and hit, but not this guy. So you really have a lot of leverage. When you see a guy stand up on his legs like that, he's really leveraging that for power. The taller you stand, seems like you have stronger legs underneath you.
Oh, 0-1 on Wilson Ramos, Nationals catcher. His contribution so far today was throwing out Eric Hosmer, trying to steal in the bottom of the first inning. Otherwise, that could have been a 5-run bottom of the first. And he's having a tough time picking up Santana's slider. 0-2.
Well, he's 0 for 3 off him in his lifetime. But still, that's not a lot of at-bats. So if you haven't seen the slider, it could be a pitch that you're going to swing and miss at, especially after seeing the fastball, because you can't pick up the spin.
Slider, slider, slider. 3 strikeouts for Santana in 2 scoreless innings. And the offense has supported him with 4 runs.
Can't touch that.
Sprint Unlimited Answers polls and responded to the bounce back text. So he has won crown seats.
There he is right there.
Oh, and 1 on Alcides Escobar. Royals scored 4 in the first inning. They hit 2 home runs. Alex hit a home run with nobody on. Hosmer drove in a run with a single, and then Salvador Perez hit a 2-run home run. And speaking of our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll, who has the most promising future? These are young National League players. We've seen Jose Fernandez. We missed Matt Harvey. Royals will not play the Dodgers this year. Now we've seen Bryce Harper over the weekend.
How are you supposed to vote on that one?
Well, you just pick one of the four.
Yeah, but man, they all have the potential to be great Major League Baseball performers. The two pitchers are young, strong, they got great stuff. And the two guys, C and D, Harper and Puig, man, they're very similar. A lot of energy, explosiveness, power, speed, athleticism, the ability to make great catches. I don't know. He's left-handed hitter. I'm going to go with him because he's left-handed. There's more righties. He's going to have a higher ceiling, my opinion.
3-2.
Don't know too much about Puig, but I love the arms of those other guys too. Don't get me wrong. That's a question there that it should be unanimous. All four of them should be the same vote. Tough question there to really pick one that's going to have the best. They're all good. Ooh.
Escobar singles to center field. The Royals have 5 hits already against Dan Herron.
Just what you want. The more success you have in your first at-bat, the giddier, the happier you are, the more chances you have to succeed during the game. But a lot of these Royals, they're young. They're learning if you don't get a hit in your first, second, or third at-bat, that fourth one could be a big and huge at-bat, could turn your night around. So you can't get too excited about early hits, and you can't get too down. Try to stay even keel.
Dyson bunts, pretty good one. And Zimmerman, tough throw, and LaRoche had to leave the bag to save it. So the Royals have 2 on, nobody out in the second inning after scoring 4 in the first.
Okay, well, this is what good bunters can do regardless of where the defender is. Zimmerman already knows that Dyson can bunt, so he's way in. Okay, he's trying to, but he's the one who's got to be perfect. See how where he is? He was already in. Dyson's the one that doesn't have to be so perfect. Just get it down, but it turns out that was a perfect bunt. Zimmerman was in, but it didn't matter. When you got that kind of speed and that ability, you bunt anyway. I think he'd have beat a good throw.
So first time through the order, the Royals have 4 runs, 6 hits against Herron, and Alex Gordon started all of that with a leadoff home run, the 11th of his career. He was hitless last night, putting an end to a 6-game hitting streak. Now hitting at .267 with 14 home runs. Started his swing and stopped in time. Tim Welke, crew chief, is the third base umpire, 1-1. Blocked by Ramos. 2 balls, 1 strike. Royals are facing a pitcher who has not had a good year, but he was pitching very well going into today. Dan Herron is 8-11, and his ERA is over 4.5, but that's not reflective of how he's been pitching since the All-Star break. Alex hits it a long way, but it was never fair. 2 balls, 2 strikes. First year with the Nationals, first 7 starts, 4-3, high ERA. Then he lost 8 straight decisions for the first time in his career with an ERA over 6. But then, since the All-Star break, coming into today, one of the best pitchers in the National League. 4-0 with a 1.3 ERA as Alex hits a line drive that's caught at first by LaRoche. And a double play as Escobar has doubled up at second base. Fans are angry because Desmond dropped the ball, but it was after the out was recorded, and he was transitioning, at least according to the second base umpire Bruce Streckman, from glove to throwing hand.
Yeah, they were going to double steal there. That's a good thing, too, because they might have had a triple play, because both of those guys were heading off, but they stopped, and Escobar couldn't get back. But they both acted like they were going to double steal there. And then he just dropped the ball after the tag was made. But had they both left, they would have had triple play. So
maybe it's just age for me, Hud, but
yeah.
It seems like, and not just the Royals, but every team over the last 5 years, there have been more line-out double plays I mean, that's one of the first things we learned, right, as kids. Freeze on a line drive.
Yeah, the reason that though was because they both took off. They were going to run. They were going to double steal. So Escobar.
Yeah, but he stopped.
Well, you could see his footprints. They were halfway. He stopped, but he tried to get back, and he just couldn't make it back. But the footprints are out there. We can see where he left his tracks. But you got to freeze on a liner, and third base and first base coaches see it. Now watch him take off.
Okay, but he stops.
He did. He stops.
Now the ball's hit.
He should have gone back.
And he goes toward third.
That's right. That was not a good read. You got to see the ball through, even if you don't score. So that was a mistake. No question. Little mental mistake there. Being too aggressive.
Dyson runs. The pitch was a good one for Ramos, but not good enough with Dyson's speed. He swipes his 24th.
You got to be really careful when you go head first and your opponents know it. Because they try to put their foot in front of the base. They drop their knee in front of the base, and you could get injured. Let's see what Desmond does. See, he got right in his base path there with his foot. Watch this. He put his left foot there. See, and Dyson got tangled up with it. But going head first, it can be risky.
Grounded sharply, but LaRoche will take it to the bag himself. And that's the inning. So a promising start with a couple of hits. The double play was big for the Nationals. And still at the end of 2, the Royals lead 4-0. KU Day at Kauffman Stadium. Good start for the Royals, a 4-0 lead. And there's head football coach Charlie Weiss signing some autographs with other KU student athletes, and Coach Weiss for the second year in a row, nice enough to join us here in the broadcast booth. And the first thing you said when you came up to the booth was,
got your 4-0 lead. What else do you need from me?
We need more, Charlie. We're greedy in this sport. Don't you get greedy in yours?
I don't know. You got a good pitcher here. I think 4 might be enough.
You're right. You're right about that.
well, you're just right around the corner. I mean, the guys are working out and everything, but pretty soon baseball is going to be competing with football again.
Yeah, this timed out well because school starts tomorrow. So, we ended up real training camp on Friday night.
Moore reaching. Hits it down into right center field. One down in the third. So second year for you, and talking to some of the people connected to the football program, talking a lot about all the, if this were a professional sport, we'd be talking about all the moves that KU football has made, but you got a lot of transfers coming in this year.
Well, the moves were out of necessity. When we were a bottom feeder in the league, and I don't think you can just count on, waiting for freshmen to develop for 3 years before you get competitive. I think that I kind of owe it to the university to try to get them competitive quicker, and I think it was the best route to take.
Coach, how about Jake Heaps, new QB? How's he looking?
Well, I'm pretty excited about him. I think that he's been very antsy.
Dyson into deep left center field, and it stays in, just barely stays in, and Anthony Rendon has a one-out double. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I think he's been antsy. He had when you transfer, you got to sit for that year, and he had to go down there and run the show team for a year, but he got familiar with our terminology, and I think that as soon as that West Virginia game was over last November, he was ready to, get ready and get going.
What's he going to feature? Is he an energy type guy? Is he going to run? Has he got a nice little...
No, he's not a real fast guy, but he's a very, very accurate thrower. And I think that's, of all the physical attributes of a quarterback, that's the number one attribute. You have to be accurate.
Where does leadership skills come in?
Yeah, he's through the roof on leadership, and I think that it's tough to be a leader when you're not playing, which is where he was last year. But I think that looking at the votes for the captains by his peers, he was an overwhelming leader and vote getter when it came to picking captains.
Bernard Spann hits one right off of Irvin Santana, and he'll be safe.
Hopefully it's not his elbow. Ouch. Gosh. Charlie, I know that football's hard, but that baseball hurts when it hits the flesh, man.
Yeah.
And when it's going at 90, 100 miles an hour, that'll put a mark on you.
That pitcher position, you're so close. And a lot of them can field in the position well, but it's dangerous when the line drives back up the middle, especially.
Gosh, Ryan, can you tell where he got it? Oh, right there. He just pointed to Escobar right in the hip. Okay, the hip's better than the arm. However, we saw Eric Hosmer. They got hit speed this year.
No.
Yeah, they got hit speed off the bat. We saw Hosmer hit 102 and hit a kid right in the back of the head. Dave Cobb hit him, and fortunately, it just gave him a concussion.
Yeah,
now we'll get another look at it.
That's something.
Yeah, right on the hip. So it might have and hit him pretty good as far as
because you can
how
tell
far that ball rolled away
and where it rolls. If it rolls that way or back to the pitcher, that's a square hit. And you can see what he's doing to Escobar. He's showing Escobar where he got hit, and he's pointing to him there. But
I agree with you. I'd much rather be hit in the hip than hit in the elbow as a pitcher. That's for sure.
Look at that. They got hit speed off the bat.
98 miles an hour. Wow.
That'll mark you.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're talking about leadership. I had a chance to visit with your radio voice, Bob Davis, who was with us for a long time, and talked to him on the way in today. And as far as captains goes, and he said, you have to ask Coach about Keon Stowers. What a great story that is.
It's interesting. Keon's from South Carolina. As a matter of fact, he was a high school teammate of Clowney, the kid from South Carolina that gets all the pub. And, he basically was heading nowhere fast, heading nowhere in life. So I ended up going to Georgia military, and we found him down there and brought him in. And, he after a year into the program, he's turned into one of our leaders that, tough as nails, and everyone's following him, and it'd be nice to be at the center of our defensive line.
That's got to be the biggest difference among many, because you've coached college, you've coached NFL, but I mean, you're sending these guys out into real life now. I mean, I would think there's less responsibility as an NFL coach as opposed to a college coach. I mean, whether they make it to the NFL or not, I mean, you want these guys to be good men.
Yeah, I think you have an ethical responsibility, and a professional responsibility. But the ethical responsibility is to help them grow as a person and graduate from college, and teach them to be high character people so that they can go out into the real world when football is being done. Because let's face it, the majority of these guys never play in the NFL. When they do, it's very, very short-lived.
So the piece of paper from the degree, that'll carry you a lifetime.
That's what, I learned that from years ago when I took over the job at Notre Dame. I had tracked, comments from Ara and Lou and those people, and Lou Holtz had always talked about how your commitment is a 40-year commitment, not a 4-year commitment, and how true that is.
And now Zimmerman strikes out, 2 down.
Charlie, can I ask you about a sensitive subject with the concussions, the helmets, and all that stuff? How are they remedying that here at the college level with the helmet and the equipment?
Well, I think that even college is even being more cautious than the NFL, and I think the NFL will be soon to follow. Now, this year they put in a new rule. Let's just talk about one of the rules they put in. Okay. If you lead with your head, you get not only a personal foul, but you get ejected. And if it's in the first half, you get ejected for the whole game. If it's in the second half, you lose the first half of the next game as well.
Whoa,
so they are making a major statement that you're not going to be leading with your helmet. Secondly, I think that everyone, coaches, trainers, doctors, are going to err on the side of caution any time of getting somebody back that suffered any form of concussion, where in the olden days they'd say, okay, you okay, get back in there.
So they have, how do you coach how to not lead with your head?
Actually, the first day we were in pads, I had one of our defensive coaches get a couple of the defensive players, and the whole team, we demonstrated, here's the proper way of doing it. We showed a video of the proper way of doing it. We showed them what was legal and what wasn't legal. I mean, you can't be a hypocrite and sit there and say you're going to practice what you preach, but don't show them how to do it. And I think that that's been one of our major points of emphasis in the training camp.
So when they had no helmets before, and even they had the leather helmets, they didn't lead with their head then, did they?
Probably.
Okay, but then, so you're teaching more arm tackling techniques?
No, shoulders.
Shoulders.
Just, to hit with your shoulder, with your head to the side.
There you go.
Where it used to be, stick your face in there. Stick your face in there. I probably said it myself about a zillion times, but, stick your face in there. Now you don't say stick your face in there. You want their head to the side.
Of course, we have 2 outs in the inning here. We've talked a lot about what's going on the field, but we want to give you an opportunity to talk about something special to you, close to your heart, off the field. HannahandFriends.org. Coach, tell us about that.
Yeah, it's going really well. We have this charity for people with special needs, like my daughter Hannah, and we've had a lot of people step to the plate and, in their support. There we go.
Well, we got 4 Royals running out in the area, and Alcides Escobar out from shortstop and makes the play. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us 2 years in a row. We appreciate that. I know you got a lot of places to go today, and hopefully at some point you can sit and enjoy the game.
All right, go Royals. Let's win today.
All right. And Rock Chalk Jayhawk, Coach. Way to go, man. Have a good one.
HannahandFriends.org. Systems analyst Bill Price has volunteered at the Unified School District 322 in Kansas for the last 10 years, helping the IT department. He updates the school computers, volunteers daily in the library, and helps the physical education teacher with the kindergarten and first grade classes. Outside of school, Bill also plays guitar and sings country music at multiple nursing homes each month. And Bill Price is sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at today's game as Eric Hosmer lifts it to right field. Bryce Harper makes the play. So Hosmer 1 for 2. He had an RBI back in the Royals' 4-run first inning. Billy 0 for 1. Stan Herron made the best pitch of the day on him for the second out of the first inning. We were talking about maybe there's one hitter in the game that could have done something with that pitch. Billy fouls it the other way. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that one hitter would be Miguel Cabrera, who hit a pretty good pitch for that walk-off home run last weekend in Detroit. A week ago Saturday. Up the middle, and Desmond goes to get it and throws him out. 2 up, 2 down in the third inning.
Desmond, strong arm. I don't mind it when they do hit a ball and you get to watch athletes like that perform. Just a reminder, folks, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game or today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. That Miller Lite can go day or night.
Foul just below us, 0-1. Moustakas had a hand in on the 4-run first inning with a single, and he scored on the Salvador Perez home run. One ball, 1 strike. Mike Moustakas is now hitting over .305 since the All-Star break.
He's looking a lot better. Too bad he got off to such a slow start. His numbers would be exactly where he wanted them to be if they weren't. But you know what, though? It's a learning process. And I think for him to be successful in the future, that first half of struggles and failure that he went through was painful for him. And he's a guy already that's really high-strung and gets bummed based on his performance when he fails. So for that period of time, for 2 months, 2.5 months, he struggled. That's going to help him later, even though he's got to go there.
Good movement on that pitch from Dan Herron as he gets his second strikeout. And the first time today, the Royals go down in order at the end of 3. The Royals lead 4-0. Kansas City. Well, not only does it snow here, but it was snowing on May the 2nd. And a game was postponed after beginning with the Tampa Bay Rays. So tomorrow's a makeup. It's not on the original schedule, but a makeup here tomorrow with Tampa Bay, just one game at 1:10. Jeremy Guthrie and Jeremy Hellickson, a 12-game winner and a 10-game winner. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Well, this has been the most important inning for the Nationals in this series, the top of the fourth. And Worth didn't mean to go around. And remember, he's running on an infected foot, so it's an easy play as Hosmer flips it over to Santana for the first out. 2 nights ago, the Nationals were down very early, 6-0 to the Royals. They scored 7 in the fourth inning, ended up winning the game 11-10. And then last night, in a 7-2 victory, Davey Johnson's team scored 4 runs in the fourth inning. So 18 runs in the first 2 games for the Nationals, and 11 of those runs scored in the fourth inning.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's not too many Royals out there jumping up and down with their 4-0 lead early in this game. Look, steady as she goes. Make the plays, execute the pitches, and get back in the win column. They have the ability to do that. And Ned Yost even said, I believe we're going to go on another winning streak. And that's the way that's been. So I got to agree with him. It's been an up and down season, no question about it. I mean, steep ups, steep downs. If they can level that off next year, I think we're going to see a lot of fruit on the vines.
2-1 on Ian Desmond, who fouled out to David Lowe in the second inning. Blasted to left field, and Ian Desmond is homered in back-to-back games. He hits that one off the Hall of Fame. Wow. I can think of only one other home run since the renovation that has hit the Hall of Fame on the fly, and that was Albert Pujols a number of years ago.
Okay. Oh, my, that's a no-doubter. Surprised it didn't break a window out there, that ball. Is it crushed? A no-doubter. Okay, Irvin's 8th home run given up to 13th given up to a righty. He's given up 7 to lefties. But solo shots are a lot better than multi-run homers. Going to give up a few homers by throwing strikes like that, but a shortstop hitting the ball there.
It was measured at 431 feet, and it was at least 431 feet. And on the topic of Santana home runs, last year he led the league in home runs allowed. He's really cleaned that up this year. He has given up 20, but most of those came very early. 13 home runs in his first 10, and now 7, including the one hit by Desmond, over his last 16 starts. And now LaRoche has a 2-hit game as he goes the other way, and he won't even think about second base. So a runner at first with 1 down.
That's a nice stroke right there. Okay, we've seen some pretty strong guys in the league this year. Giancarlo Stanton of Miami, and this kid now Ian Desmond, and that ball, the hit speed on that home run. Ooh, man, that ball wasn't walking, Ryan.
I don't think the Pujols one hit that high. I think Pujols hit the clear glass. So that's one of the longest home runs to left field since the renovations. And if I recall, the Pujols home run was a grand slam off of Gil Mesh. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wilson Ramos had a bad time with Santana's slider in the second inning. Irvin threw him 3 sliders. Ramos missed all 3 and struck out. Moustakas backhands out at second base. Double play with the stretch by Hosmer.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. That's beautiful right there. It can't get any harder. but they made it look so easy. Oh, Moose with quick. Bonifacio. Osmer. Beautiful.
To put the Nationals on the board, but the Royals had a 4-run first inning and lead by 3. Dan Herron, who leads the National League in home runs allowed, gave up 2 in the first. Alex leading off the first with his 14th home run, and then Sal Perez hit his 6th. That was with a man on. Eric Hosmer also drove in a run in that inning. So Sal leads off after getting last night off. And Herron throws a strike on the outside corner.
245, is that what Sal's listed at?
LaRoche gives way to Rendon. 1 down in the 4th.
Yes, 245 is what Salvador Perez is listed at. He's going to have some home runs in his career, I can tell you. Just the size, once he figures it out a little bit, gets to know the league a little better, he's going to have 20, 25 home runs in him.
And the home run he hit, he was not muscling up at all. I mean, it was just a nice, easy swing.
Yep. It's almost like an accident. He didn't mean to do it.
Natural power just took over. Fouled back by David Lowe. You know, I hadn't seen Salvador Perez until spring training a few years ago. Now, I'd heard a lot about Salvador Perez, and people in the Royals organization were saying this guy can really throw. He throws like Ivan Rodriguez, who was the gold standard at that time. And I remember walking over to the spring training facility and seeing him, and I was just shocked. I was expecting a smaller guy. You know, I guess when I'm hearing Ivan Rodriguez, I was thinking, you know, smaller as far as height, and I thought, wow, I wonder how he moves with a big body like that. And for him, the athleticism and the body type don't line up. I mean, he moves around like a little guy.
No, you're exactly right. Same thing when I joined the team last year in spring training when I saw him. And I went, ooh, 23? I see weight issues when he gets older. That's the first thing I thought about was how big he was. But then when they told me how he works, he's a worker. He conditions himself. He stays in shape year round. I started feeling better. Because when you see a young kid that big, you're going, oh, man.
Right. CC Sabathia, when he got into the league, oh, boy. But he's managed that quite well. In fact, he's gotten smaller over the course of his career. Good plate appearance so far for Lowe. The count 0-2 to 3-2. And Perez, Sal Perez, he's made at least 3-4 plays this year in between home plate and the mound that would remind you of a shortstop. The way he gets rid of the mask and grabs the ball with his bare hand and makes that wrong foot throw like an infielder would.
Yep. He's got great hands. It'd be fun to watch him grow up right in front of Royals fans' eyes. David Lowe, he's swinging right now and fighting in this at bat and competing. Call it what you want. He looks like he wants to drive one out of the ballpark. That's those kind of swings he's taking right there. Young lady, she got wet. She got the ball though.
Lifted to center field. And Denard Span brings it down for the second out. Royals have that makeup game tomorrow. Then they hit the road for a week. And while the Royals are away, mark your calendar to come out to KC's biggest and best party when the Kansas City Irish Fest slides into Crown Center Square over Labor Day weekend with special appearances by our own Slugger. So fans, get your tickets at kcirishfest.com, and also make sure to get the green KC Shamrock t-shirt presented by the Irish Fest. That's on September 17th here at Kauffman Stadium. Well, you got to be very careful when you say KC Shamrock t-shirt. Dan Herron gets Alcides Escobar, who's 1 for 2. And after giving up 4 runs in the first inning, now Dan Herron has retired 8 in a row. Irvin Santana has a 4-1 lead.
I think it's going. It's still going. It might have gone out that exit there and might still be going. I think he got all of it. That's number 42 on the year. Tigers lead 4-3, Ryan.
Well, he might do it after all. There was a while there where it looked like Chris Davis was going to run away with the home run title and deny Cabrera back-to-back triple crowns, but now Cabrera just 4 home runs back of Davis. And he's doing most of it on one leg. Cabrera, he's got that sore knee, bruised shin, abdominal strain, you name it. Still hitting.
Truly amazing.
Tyler Moore leads off. 0 for 1. 4 for 10 in the series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Irvin began with 3 scoreless innings and allowed a 1-out home run to Ian Desmond in the 4th. And now Irvin doing a little housekeeping behind the mound. He lost his jersey there and turned away from home plate to adjust his belt buckle.
Sure.
Very gentlemanly of him.
It's only proper.
5 strikeouts as he gets more for the first out in the 5th inning.
Slider's a beautiful thing. And you would think that once that word got around that dugout over there, they'd lay off the slider, that they could lay off of it. But you can't. It looks too much like a fastball. And we've seen some 95 consistently all year from Irvin.
You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. 1-1 to Anthony Rendon, who had a 1-out double in the 3rd inning. Rendon started at second base on Friday night. Steve Lombardozzi was at second base last night. The Nationals have a player at AAA right now, Danny Espinoza, who was seen as their second baseman for the long term and broke his wrist early this year and rehabbing at AAA and hitting right around 200. So it's really opened the door for Rendon, who has moved from third base to second. Dyson makes the play in center field.
Well, and Rendon is successful because he has a lot of natural ability, but also the mental side of it. When he's up there, he could care less. He's nice and loose with his hands. He's like, I don't even know who you are, but I'm just going to keep my hands loose and react. And that's kind of the attitude he's got. Not cocky, but he's just kind of not afraid.
And third base is blocked for a while by Ryan Zimmerman, who signed a 6-year contract extension in spring training. So 2 down to Denard Span, who extended his hitting streak to 9 games when he hit a line drive off of Santana in the 3rd inning. Hit him right on the hip. Irvin was able to stay in the game without any difficulty. Don't know how it feels, but it hasn't affected his pitching.
Well, I saw Irvin in one of his first 2 starts in his career. You see this right here, hit it right off of his right hip. Whenever the ball bounces backwards like that, means you got hit squarely. I mean, that's solid. That'll mark it. I saw him get hit on the knee, right in the knee on a line drive. And, of course, he couldn't stay in the game for that, but that could have ended his career. And he said he was very fortunate. It just missed the kneecap. But pitchers are used to getting hit.
But I think as Nick Kenny went out there to check on Irvin, I think he found the spot. Watch this. Let's see, did it get you on the hip? Let's see. Oh, hang on a second. We'll show it again. Nick Kenny hit the spot. The way Irvin reacted. Here you go. Watch this. Was it right here? How about right there? Right there? Yeah.
Ouch.
Thank you.
Don't touch that. Please. Don't touch that again. That hurt. How about that? Was really sensitive early.
Still 3-2 on Span.
Tell you what, on a hot day like this, athletic trainers, head athletic trainers, assistants, they're busy because they got to water the guys down, keep them hydrated, but also there's a special towel in there that really can refresh them.
Center field, that'll drop in front of Dyson, and Span has a 2-hit game.
And it's called ammonia water. They put ammonia in water and ice in a bucket, and they put a towel in there. And when you put that on your head like that, like home plate Mike Everett came over, look at Nick taking care of all of them. He don't care who they are. Let's take care of them. That's refreshing. The ammonia, as you smell it, it kind of wakes you up. It's like what they put on you, like a prize fighter when he gets dazed. It has a special,
like smelling salts.
Yeah,
right?
It wakes you up and it feels great. So Mike Everett, way to go, and thanks Nick Kenny to take care of him.
Now, kids, those of you listening, don't go into the kitchen closet and start pulling out the ammonia.
Yeah, no.
It's a very dangerous chemical, and Royals training staff goes to great lengths to have the right mix of water and ammonia. It's mostly water and just a dash of ammonia.
Sure makes a player or a guy who's out there competing feel good, brings you back.
I noticed, too, that not only did he have the towel on his head, but he wrapped it around his wrist. That's another way, another sensitive part of the body in cooling down. He had a nice cold towel around the wrists. That's the guy you really feel sorry for more than anybody else on a day like today. The home plate umpire who has all that heavy gear on, he doesn't get a half inning off like Salvador Perez does. When this final out is recorded, Sal can go to the dugout, take the gear off. He can go up into the clubhouse. He can change his T-shirt if he wants. Mike Everett is out there all game.
Did you see him wiping the sweat from his collar on his shirt? Yeah, it's a demanding spot.
And now 3-0 on Zimmerman. So a big pitch right here. A big hitter right here. Potential tying run is on deck, and it's Bryce Harper, who has hit 17 home runs this year. The Royals would like to end this inning with Harper still in the on-deck area. Swinging on 3-0. Thank you very much. Inning over. And that may not have even been a strike. Santana's given up just one run in 5 innings.
About what speed do, as he says, for Jarrod Dyson. And some of the Royals were over at Chiefs practice the other day, and there was some talk that Jarrod Dyson said that he could beat Jamal Charles in a race. Well, Dyson denies the comments, but not his ability.
I can beat Jamal Charles in a race. I didn't say that by any chance, but you know what? I'm not afraid to race nobody. I tell you that. Straight up. For the camera. I'm not afraid to race nobody. Hey, 100 yards, you going to lose on me. I'm telling you that now. I break down like bacteria after 100, I'm telling you, right now.
As only Jarrod Dyson can say. And I don't know, guys, I asked our right field cameraman, Donnie Miller, who's up there on the Budweiser patio today, and he shot the Chiefs game in Pittsburgh last night, and, you know, he was a linebacker way back when, too, and he said he would take Dyson in that shorter race. Put some pads on these guys, might be a different story. But it's too bad that Jarrod is not confident, guys.
That's funny. Look, it's a lot of smack talk that's run in every clubhouse and always has been. Well, that's kind of fun, especially between two guys that play for the two professional teams in Kansas City. They're not on the same team, so it's different. They can one can talk smack about the other.
Well, I think they should have a 3-level race. Okay, the first one is Dyson has to go into Charles's element. He has to put a helmet on and the shoulder pads and the thigh pads. Rendon got a glove on it. No chance to throw Dyson out. It was 2 for 2. Now, I think we know who would win that race. Jamal Charles, much more comfortable running in football equipment like that. But, you know, see what the times would be like. Then we get Charles over here and have him run the bases. Have him go first to third, right? Mm-hmm. And then what's the tiebreaker race going to be?
Let me see. They could just 60, run a 60 and run a 40. Okay, because look, 40's football times, 60 is baseball time. That's what they time them in, the distances.
How about, as director Steve Kurtenbach just suggested, they could do the hot dog derby.
Yeah, now that would be a whole different deal, having to put that whole hot dog costume on. But you know, Gerard Dyson in the daytime, coming into this game before he just got these 2 hits, 345 average with a 415 on-base percentage in day games. So he's 2 for 2 already with a stolen base in a day game. So you read those numbers, you're a manager, you got to put him in that lineup.
Up the right field line and caught just inside the line by Harper. So Alex is the first out. He's 1 for 3 with a home run today. Now, does that stat mean anything, or is that just a fluke stat? I always thought that veterans normally have the better numbers because they know how to prepare themselves to play a day game after a night game.
It's interesting, Ryan. That's a good question. I'm going to say it's a fluke stat. However, when a player starts seeing that, they're not privy to all the numbers that we are. But once they start hearing it, they go, oh, yeah, okay, that's right. You're right, I am good on day games. So it's another confidence edge in a game that's played every day. You got to have that confidence.
Adam Jones, veteran guy. Jason Kipnis, newer guy. Howie Kendrick, veteran. Miguel Cabrera, veteran. Adam Lynn, David Ortiz. Mike Trout, younger player. Dustin Pedroia. Jose Bautista. Those are the best hitters in the league during the day.
Love it. You're a little mix of some young and old in there. Day game's beautiful. That's the way baseball was played before they had lights. Put a little eye black on. You know you're in a game. Get yourself hydrated the night before so you know you're in there. Take care of yourself. No batting practice today.
Dyson runs, and Bonifacio almost hit him on the heel. And Dyson will be held at third. We almost saw another Royals score today from first on a single. Bonifacio did it back in the first inning on a single from Hosmer, and Eddie Rodriguez, with the middle of the order coming up, held Dyson at third.
He did. Dyson lost his helmet around third, but he sure thought about scoring. Now, he had to get out of the way of that. Now he's kicking it in here. Helmet came off, catches it. Better get back to third. Just let that helmet go.
Hosmer drove in his 64th in the first inning and his 5th of this series. And a ground ball to second. Rendon, Desmond, and LaRoche for a double play. Second double play for Dan Herron today. So that keeps the game within reach for Washington. The Royals have a 4-1 lead to the 6th inning. Ball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. By Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Some of the classic cars out in the parking lot at Kauffman Stadium, and some of them took a lap around the warning track before the game started today. Big out for Santana to end the 5th inning. Was Span at first and Ryan Zimmerman at the plate 3-0, and Harper on deck. Harper would have represented the tying run, but Santana got Zimmerman to swing at a 3-0 pitch, and he grounded out to second base. So Harper comes up with nobody on, and the Royals leading 4-1.
Oh. Yep. We've seen the ball, when it's hit back at a pitcher, it can do. And then, you know, when you foul one off your foot like that, it's really hard. Most of the time, guys foul them off their front foot, though. Rarely do you see a back foot foul off. But that hit right on his big toe. Uh-oh, he's hurting.
He hit it off of his back foot.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't see that very often. But, you know, for him, watching him in this third game now of the series, when he hits, all of his weight is on his front foot when he's on contact. There's not even, his left foot doesn't even hit the ground. So he's totally balanced on his front foot.
That's Lee Kuntz, former Royals trainer, now the head athletic trainer with the Washington Nationals.
And Harper may not be able to continue. He can't put any weight on it. But rarely do you see a guy foul a ball off of his left foot, his back leg.
Well, he wants to stay in, but he's having a tough time putting any weight at all on that foot, and it's more than just this at bat. It's standing around out in right field for 4 more innings.
And he hasn't even had a little walk. He hasn't even walked it off. So it'll be interesting to see. Now let's watch it again. Look at his weight on this front side here. All of the weight is on this front side. Watch it. See, that back leg is totally off the ground. And he fouled it right off of his big toe.
Either that, or you think that got his toe, or do you think it got him flush on the top of the foot?
I don't know. It looked like to me it hit down. See where the ball kind of.
And Santana does what any pitcher would do, is you pitch him down and in on the very next pitch. Harper is 0 for 2 today. He has driven in 4 in the series. And he's still hurting even after that swing.
Well, that's his back leg. That's the foot that you plant in. You dig in and you put your weight on it.
43% agree with HUD in our Sprint Unlimited Answers poll. The most promising future of those 4 young players in the National League.
Like I said, it's a huge advantage when you can get a breaking ball coming into you. And a majority of the pitchers are right-handed. So this kid's going to see a lot of breaking balls coming into him. And I see the way he pays attention to detail, the way he's been schooled in the game since he's been 14 years old. He's believed and programmed in his mind he's always going to be a big leaguer, and not just a big leaguer, a star. He told me since he was 7 he believed he was going to be a big league baseball player. And then his family, they designed his whole program and workout program, school, everything around being drafted.
And with the bad foot, he singles into center field to lead off the 6th inning. The lasting image for many people was that Sports Illustrated cover. Baseball's chosen one, when he had the eye black like a warrior on his face, and that caused a stir among some in professional baseball in the old, who does this kid think he is? And you talk about designing his life around being a baseball player. He was done with his high school career after his sophomore year. He earned his GED before his junior year of high school. Played 1 year of junior high school, or junior college baseball, when he should have been a junior in high school, and then was drafted first overall.
Who are those two?
Responded by winning the Rookie of the Year last year.
Yep. That's a great picture right there of future stars in the game of baseball. One in the National League, one in the American. Great shots standing by each other.
And now Jason Worth, talking about a guy with a bad foot. That's his first hit. And the Nationals have 2 on with nobody out. And now Ian Desmond comes to the plate. He has homered twice in the last 2 games. And he hit a big boy home run back in the 4th today. Our AT&T U-verse rewind.
Yep, he sure did. I mean, and Justin Maxwell, the newly acquired Kansas City Royal, likes to pull his shirt apart. There it is. Ian Desmond, we caught him in between innings shooting that to Maxwell. Said, yeah, you might be Superman, but so am I. And that was funny. He was shooting that to him from the field. To hit a ball off the Hall of Fame wall, truly, you must have a red cape. And I'll tell you what helped out a lot was the previous inning when Ryan Zimmerman swung 3-0. With all these strong guys coming up behind him, that took Irvin out of a big inning, a potential huge inning. So now he's in another mess. There's nobody out here. And LaRoche is coming up on deck. No rest for the weary.
Good pitch. 0-2. That was Desmond's 19th home run. He hit 25 last year. And we were telling you last night some of the unfair and yet early comparisons between Desmond and Derek Jeter when you're talking about the entire player. Leadership, defense, offense, off the field. Lays off the slider this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But one big difference between the two, well, Jeter's World Series rings would be a big difference at this point, but I think Desmond is going to rate out much higher in the power department.
Oh, no question.
This time Santana gets him with a slider. Irvin has 6 strikeouts, and that's out number 1 in the 6th inning.
Big strikeout there. But you know what? I'm gonna put him in a Barry Larkin category. Barry Larkin's a Hall of Famer. Desmond, he missed on that, but he's not the only big leaguer who's missed on Irvin slider.
Most home runs Derek Jeter has hit 24. That was 14 years ago. And then 23 9 years ago.
But this kid Desmond is a lot stronger and bigger than Derek Jeter. So I'm going to say that Desmond, he's got a chance to be 20-25 home runs a year guy.
Jeter's a pretty big guy too.
He is.
I mean,
I'm just not as thick.
He's a guy that surprises you when you walk by him.
No, height-wise, yeah, but he has long, lean muscles. Desmond, he's got shoulders. You can see he looks like a linebacker.
LaRoche, after taking a pitch that was nowhere near the strike zone, takes a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. He has singled twice. He has singled to right center and singled to left. And he's a dangerous hitter with 18 home runs. And now ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. cracked his bat. Infield fly rule has been called as Hosmer brings it down 2 away. Remember the new players section, Gordo Nation, is every Wednesday home game for the remainder of the season. You can cheer on Alex Gordon in his special fan section with a $30 ticket that includes a limited edition Gordo Nation t-shirt and a seat in the field box or plaza sections in left field. And the next Gordo Nation is September 4th against the Mariners. Hard to believe when we get back from this trip, we will be into September. Regular season ends 5 weeks from today. Fouled away by Ramos. He's had a bad time with Santana's slider. He struck out in the second inning and then grounded into a double play in the fourth.
Okay, what? Now, look, better do something with your eyes and try to protect him. That's hard, man. Look at him. He's saying, man, that hurt. Wonder why he doesn't have any glasses on. Because just the glare, just the kind, not the conventional kind that flip down, but just the other kind, take the glare away. And if you see where Hosmer is standing, he's not looking directly into the sun when the ball goes up, but there's brightness. You can see the shadows under the ground. See, if they're off to the side like that, that means that he's not getting direct light.
Blocked by Perez, 1-2. Irvin Santana is 1 out away, 1 strike away from going at least 6 innings in 24 of 26 starts this year.
Phenomenal.
He has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 6 of his last 7. Ramos taps it in front of the mound. Santana will flip to first, and that's the inning. So he goes 6 innings at least, and he's held the Nationals to just 1 run so far as the Royals lead by 3.
He's magic.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Farmland Foods and their Bacon a Difference charity concert. All tickets are $10 with all proceeds benefiting harvesters. Go to baconadifference.com. Well, we've seen 3 home runs today, 2 of them with nobody on base. So a 4-1 game to the bottom of the 6th. And this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Robert Quick, who lives in Marshall, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Robert wins $2,000. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Robert wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Billy Butler, Mike Moustakas, and Salvador Perez against Dan Herron. And if the goal is to get to a good veteran pitcher early, the Royals accomplished that today, getting all 4 runs in the first. 0-2 on Billy. He is 0 for 2 so far today. Herron gave up home runs to Gordon and Perez in the first, and an RBI single to Eric Hosmer. One and two. Almost the same pitch that got Billy back in the first inning.
Herron's doing a nice job. He's settling down. Very good location. Talked about that before the game, how he hits the corners. A couple different speeds with a split finger, but he's mainly a 2-pitch guy. Fastball, he changes speeds with the fastball. See that? Nice little split finger. Watch him. Okay, Billy Butler. That's the one who said that there's only one guy can hit this. And that's Miguel Cabrera. That was the pitch there. That was really tough.
Boy, Herron just gave away a free pitch.
Yeah. Moose looked like he called time, but he wasn't granted time by Mike Everett.
Moustakas has struck out and singled with a run scored. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Those pitches to Billy Butler, you and I were visiting with FP Santangelo, the former big leaguer, and now television analyst for the Nationals, and he was saying Dan Herron on this great run, that has been the region of the plate that he has just worn out. Down and away to righties, down and into lefties right there. And a very similar pitch to that one is what struck out Moustakas back in the third.
Yeah, and there was nothing wrong with that pitch there. That's a beauty. It's right where you want to pitch it. However, if a lefty's looking down in there, he can hurt you. And Moose is getting close. Notice how quiet Moose's body is and how it's been at the plate. He's seeing the ball really well. Very relaxed. He's in a groove right now. Hand position's really loose, compact, comfortable. Oh. That's a good pitch for him. He just gave up on it a little too soon. Second time he's gotten caught looking today by Herron. So 2 in a row. A little too close to take. As that's his home run pitch. He kept staying in on Moose, though. He's trying to tie him up.
Desmond goes to the middle and throws out Salvador Perez. So he played 6. Royals with 4 in the first, the Nationals with 1 in the fourth. ahead 4-1. And for the second time in the series, the Royals doing a lot of scoring early in the game. They got 4 in the first with home runs from Alex Gordon and from Salvador Perez. And Irvin Santana, just 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, no walks in 6 innings. And in good shape as far as pitch count goes so far. So he'll stay on for the 7th inning. Alex led off the game with his 11th career leadoff home run. And Sal with a 2-run home run later in the inning.
Let Irvin go. And I'll tell you what, I was in the clubhouse before the game, and I don't go in the clubhouse very often because that's kind of, I don't have a lot of business in there, so I stay out. But Salvador Perez and Escobar and Irvin Santana all kind of locker near each other, and man, they were having a good time. And a lot of starting pitchers that day on their 5th day, they're kind of into themselves. They're a little bit quiet. They're kind of focusing. But Irvin was yucking, having a good time. And, you know, that just tells you about how relaxed he is. He's not intense. He's not uptight. He's not nervous about his start. And look what he's doing. He's just going out and pitching like Irvin can, throwing zeros on the board. It's really nice to see. I mean, there was starting pitchers on my team, Ryan, during my career that you couldn't talk to them. You couldn't even look at them the day they pitched. They would come in. They wouldn't say one word to anyone. It was their day, their focus.
And even during the game, right? I mean, in between innings, they'd want to be left alone on the bench.
And before the game in the clubhouse, they had the music box. They could put any tunes on they wanted. It was their box. It was their day, their music. But the most strangest music I ever heard from a starting pitcher was Phil Niekro, and he loved polka music. There was some dude yodeling some kind of song in a Yankee locker room. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, what is this? I never heard polka music before. Some guy's yodeling. You know, that's Knucksy's heritage. Now, the life of a ball player in a clubhouse every day. Irvin having some issues.
That's about the 3rd or 4th time he's done that.
Some of the people are watching saying.
He's turning away from home plate for some privacy, although he's giving the fans in the outfield a little show.
Look at that. He had to adjust his belt so he could drop another slider on another victim who happened to be Tyler Moore. Make the adjustment. Magic. It disappears. It's a beautiful pitch.
Time for AT&T trivia for today. Who are the 5 pitchers to record 300 or more saves with one team? Well, one of those is in the house, and it occurred today. Denard Span, deep right center field and over the wall for a home run. A 3-hit game for Span. That's his 3rd home run of the year, making it a 4-2 game.
Ooh, man, he really dropped the head of that bat on that one. Right down the middle. Changeup.
On this date, 14 years ago, our own Jeff Montgomery picked up his 300th career save and became the first person in Major League history to have all 300 of them with one team. As Ryan Zimmerman is on with 2 outs with a single, he is 1 for 4.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a little action up in that bullpen here. Looks like Kelvin Herrera's up there, but there. Let's check out Monty.
Who's more excited here, Monty or Mike Sweeney after the final out here for Monty's 300 save? Watch this. That's Ray Sanchez.
Congratulations, Monty. Dig
There he
yourself,
is.
man.
Windows closed.
Yeah.
Come on.
The people love him, man. Yeah. Yeah, the people love him.
Now,
We do too.
when you save 300 games, and in Monty's case, eventually 304, you get your own special baseball card. I mean, before they were closers, they were firemen. And now, we did some exhaustive research, and we wondered, is Monty the only person to have a baseball card with a fire extinguisher? And surprisingly, Kelly Myers, nicknamed Fight Club, one of our great cameramen, there he is. That's live, by the way.
He's digging himself.
Yep. He had his own baseball card with a fire extinguisher.
You just can't beat fun. If the Yards stay in here.
Bryce Harper, deep left field, and that ties the game at 4 in the 7th inning.
Oh. That's inside out, too, by the way. Fouled a ball off his foot, still limping from his at bat before. Too bad.
Santana gave up 1 run in 6 innings. And that was a solo home run, and now 2 home runs here in the 7th. The Nationals tied the game on Friday after falling behind 6-0. And they have tied the game at 4 today after falling behind in the first inning 4-0. So a Chevy call to the bullpen, and Kelvin Herrera comes on with 2 outs and nobody on.
Rats.
Back, we've seen 5 home runs hit today, and the Nationals have hit 2 in the 7th inning to tie the game at 4. So Kelvin Herrera to Jason Worth, and after 98 pitches and giving up 2 home runs in this inning, Ned Yost says that's enough and brings on a fresh arm for Worth, who has hit 19 home runs this year, 1 in this series, and he's 1 for 3 today.
Okay, they're not hitting Herrera for much of an average. Matter of fact, the opponent's average is only .210, but he's given up 5 home runs to left-handed bats and 4 to right. And he's got to be careful here, especially with these guys coming up here with location. Above average fastball, real nice above average changeup, and it's got a pretty good curveball, but he's going to have to hit the corner, stay out of the middle.
3-0 on Worth. And we'll take the suspense out for you right now. There is no brighter green light than the one that Jason Worth has right now. This is not a gimme strike if Herrera just wants to lay one in there. As I said, 3-1. That was not a hit a little line drive to right field swing, by the way.
And he just pulled off his head a little. Tried too much.
3-2. And we'll do it again.
He's got a short, compact stroke. He's the leader on their team, no doubt about it.
And now he will walk with 2 outs, which is not the worst thing. He's not running well at all. So rather than lay one in there on 3-2, take your chances with a fresh hitter. Although Ian Desmond comes to the plate. He's homered today. He has 19 home runs.
And you wonder about this offense here of the Washington Nationals, how they could be so poor in some of the offensive categories. But look at the hitters they got. LaRoche is on deck. I mean, they've got a really nice pop in there. Zimmerman's hitting second, Harper, Worth, Desmond, LaRoche. You got some pop in there.
Second in the National League in home runs last year, 8th this year. 5th in their league in runs scored last year, 9th this year. So they haven't shown it in this series, but their production has been way down. But they have won 5 in a row, fueled by their offense. They've been averaging about 6 runs per game over their last 15 games.
Oh, man, he had a rip.
They have gotten away with one there. Alex looking up into the sun, makes the catch. Herrera gets the job done, gets the Royals out of the 7th inning, but damage has been done as Washington comes back, and they have tied the game at 4 in the 7th. Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. It is a hitter's day, and in a 4-4 game, we have seen 5 home runs. Remember, there is a game here tomorrow at 1:10. It's a makeup game from a snowed-out matchup between the Royals and the Rays back in May. Jeremy Guthrie and Jeremy Hellickson, just 1 game with Tampa Bay, and then the Royals hit the road for a week beginning in Minnesota on Tuesday. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS. We will not televise tomorrow's game, so hope you'll come on out or listen on the Royals radio network.
Yep, two Jeremys going against each other, Hellickson and Guthrie.
Well, Dan Herron gave up 4 runs in the first inning. His outing got off to an awful start, and right away, as Alex Gordon homered to lead off the bottom of the first, then Bonifacio walked. Hosmer drove him to the plate. Moustakas singled. Perez hit a 2-run home run, and the Royals were off and running, just like they were on Friday night. They have not scored since. Royals have 4 singles, 2 of them infield singles, since that 4-run first inning. And meanwhile, the Nationals got 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 7th to tie it.
Okay, Herron's settled down, and he's really hitting his spots now. Okay, it's going to be up to the Royals offense here to see what they can do. Now, there's one down the middle there. Got to try to get on base some way. 90th pitch expended. They've got a righty out there getting loose in their pen.
Nice big hop for Desmond, and David Lowe is retired. He is 0 for 3. .91 pitches thrown by Dan Herron. Now, managers and pitching coaches, they are watching the quality of the pitcher every inning. But when you start getting around 90, 100 pitches, maybe they're paying a little closer attention. Any sign of fatigue, any drop off in quality of pitching. And I think on a day like today, you have to pay attention even earlier. I mean, he might be at 93 pitches, but with the heat, his body might feel like he's thrown 103 pitches. So pitch counts are monitored a little differently by some teams on days like today.
Totally agree.
Still 1-2 on Escobar, who is singled and grounded back to the mound.
Well, you know, the last few days really have been the only hot days the Royals have had during this little stretch that they're in. Speaking of stretches, it's quite a bit. They've played 26 games of the 44 and 44 games that began July 30th. So they're about a little over halfway into it. But there was cool weather for the first 23 games. They've had real nice weather. So that's been a little break for them.
Hit well to center field, but Span is there, so a tough luck out for Alcides Escobar. 2 down in the 7th inning. All right, our AT&T trivia question for today. Who are the 5 pitchers to record 300 or more saves with one team?
How about Eckersley? How about Percival? Troy Percival? Maybe Mariano Rivera?
Trevor Hoffman?
And
Jeff
Monty.
Montgomery.
Yeah, we got him.
Percival. Now you had a little advantage there.
I did.
That was I think that would be the trick part of this question. Although somebody outside of Kansas City might not think of Monty, but he was the first one to record 300 saves with one team. And he did that 14 years ago today with a save against the Baltimore Orioles. Back our way and just below. And because of his efforts, Jeff Montgomery was an easy selection for the Royals Hall of Fame. Two and two on Dyson, who has a 2-hit game and a stolen base. And And now Herron is over 100 pitches.
Dyson having a day. Stay on it. They need him to get on base again. 2 singles.
3-2. This could be Herron's last pitch. And it's hit to right field. Bryce Harper had a little difficulty judging it, but makes the play. Throws it up into the crowd, and Dan Herron gives up 4 runs in the first and then none over his next 6 innings.
Wow, he carried him.
Scoring all 4 in the first inning. The Nationals tied the game in the 7th. So here we go into the 8th inning, and Kelvin Herrera, who faced 2 and got the final out of the 7th, will start the 8th.
Hold him down and watch out for this guy's bat. He can be dangerous. Home run balls, really, the way the ball's flying out of this yard today at the K, be careful. Keep it down. Make them do the lifting. Don't you help them. Wind's blowing really hard now to left field.
Two singles so far. He has 18 home runs this year. Fastball is outside. Desmond, Span, and Harper have homered. And both times in this series, when the Nationals have come back from a big deficit, it has been the 20-year-old Bryce Harper who has tied the game. Remember, it was a 3-run double in the 4th inning on Friday night, which tied the game at 6. And then a 2-run home run against Irvin Santana with 2 outs in the 7th inning today, tying the game at 4. Hitting on one good foot. 1-2 on LaRoche.
LaRoche is not taking a little doinker swing either. He's looking to get extended. Pretty good hair on that fastball.
Still 2-2. broke his bat, and Bonifacio will throw him out. So Roach is 2 for 4. So the Royals lose an off day tomorrow with that makeup game with Tampa Bay. And then they head to Minnesota for 3, Toronto for 3. Washington will have an off day tomorrow. And then they're home for a homestand against Miami and New York, as in the Mets.
It's been an incredible year this year as far as the weather, especially early on. And I've never seen Dayton Moore more angry than he was in that one cancellation game when Irvin Santana had 7 strikeouts and just right at 4 innings.
The Royals were batting in the bottom of the 4th.
Yep. They had a lead. And he was really perturbed by that. And then the other time was in St. Louis when they had that 3 o'clock start again, in the a.m. 3 o'clock start after that long rain delay. A couple times that I saw the fangs of Dayton, and it wasn't pretty. Some things in baseball, it's hard to control. You don't have any control over the weather, but the umpires have control over their decisions.
Ramos strikes out for a second time. He's 0 for 4. 2 down in the 8th. Well, it ended up being a difficult journey for the Rays in that they're in the middle of a homestand. They're losing an off day to fly here to play 1 game and then go right back to St. Petersburg. Now, in their defense, if they were complaining, and there was some talk about that eventually they just wore down the umpiring crew because that was before it started snowing. It was raining. The field didn't look good. But Trevor Vance told me that the dirt that the Royals had at that time was very compact, so that looked like it was muddy and puddles out there, but really it was playable. We didn't see any sloppy plays as a result of the rain. But some of the Rays players were wearing down the umpiring crew, and finally they had enough. And we weren't able to start the game again because it started to snow. But they probably would have lost that game. I don't think anybody was going to score a run again. I mean, it had gotten so cold and so wet. So they avoided a loss. And while it's going to make for some challenging travels for them this late in the game, here's a slide by Elliott Johnson. So that kicked up some mud. Ted Barrett was the crew chief, is the crew chief of that particular crew. As Moore drops it into center field for a base hit. Well, Tampa Bay is tied for first place with Boston. So they were, I think, going to lose that game. All the Royals needed to do is get that game to the 5th inning. Nobody was going to do anything offensively. I mean, you could underhand it over the plate, and I don't think we'd see any offense. So challenging travel, but they'll have an opportunity to turn in what could have been a loss into a win. Tied in their division this late in the game.
Even though they're going to be up and back in one day, I think it's a gamble that they'll take. But the Royals have got to defend their ground, and they can't get away from this one either. This is a win they got to have. They got to stay above 500. They're right there now. They can't go any lower.
Rendon. Tough play, Moustakas. Bare hand, shows off his arm and throws a strike to Hosmer to end the inning. Tie game to the bottom of the 8th. Royals will have the top of the order. Alex Gordon, Emilio Bonifacio, and Eric Hosmer.
Skills, a little rid and troll. Get rid of it with some petrol on it.
HD quality on MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live online, as well as choice of home and away broadcasts, live game DVR functionality, clickable line scores, and multi-game viewing options. So visit MLB.tv to order baseball everywhere.
What's wrong with that? Love it.
Craig Stammen is the Nationals' new pitcher after Dan Herron goes 7 innings, gives up 4 runs, 8 hits. Chevy called to the bullpen for Washington.
Stammen, he's got a good sinking fastball. He's going to try to sink underneath. There's his little breaking ball. Actually, that's a slider, and it's his best pitch. So he's going to sinker, slider, occasional curveballs. He'll roll them up a little bit more depth. Alex has looked really good offensively today. We know he's automatic on defense. Homered his first time up. He lined into a 3-6 double play. And then he popped up to the right fielder, but that ball was hit pretty well. Oh. Too bad.
Denard Span over from center field to make the play. 1 down in the 8th. Craig Stammen, a homegrown product from the Nationals system, drafted out of the University of Dayton, where he was the all-time strikeout leader. Drafted 8 years ago out of Dayton. Emilio Bonifacio.
Find a way to get on. There's a time of the game here where they can get a run home and end it. Beautiful.
Great bunt. And no. Oh,
man.
This is going to be a heated argument. You don't see Rusty Kuntz argue very much as first base coach. So when he gets in the umpire's face, you know it was at least very close to a missed call, or at least in his mind a missed call. First base umpire is Dan Bellino.
Yeah, it was a perfect touch on the bunt. I'm thinking no way Rendon's got a chance. And it's good to see Ned come out of the dugout. Let's see it again in the replay. Ooh, man, I'm telling you what. That was
it was closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, look at that. He got it. He
he's
beat
safe.
It. Yeah. Doggone, that's a tough break there.
Well, those plays will be much easier to call next year when you have instant replay. But at regular speed, and that's a very fast guy going up the line, that's a tough call to make by an umpire. It's his job to get it right. But I thought when we saw the replay, it was going to be much more obvious than this.
I'm going to throw a bigger stink. If I'm Ned, I'm getting tossed. This team's losing 7 in a row. My patience would be run out right there. They'd have to carry me off.
And that's an important runner. I mean, you're
Huge
getting
runner.
a guy on who can steal a base, and you got Hosmer and Butler coming up. And now 3-1 on Hosmer. He drove in a run in the first inning. He has 5 RBIs in this series. And he'll take a walk. So it's an even bigger play now. Instead of a runner at first, 2 down. Royals could have 2 on 1 out with Billy Butler coming up, but that's just the way it goes.
But Billy has the power to end it if he can just get a pitch. Craig Stammen is going to stay away from him with sinkers and sliders. Hit would put Billy over 290, and a big hit might give him a chance to walk off. Or not walk off, and get Holland in the game, who's out there already ready to go. Don't want to get to walk off. Just do it, let Holland have a save. Hadn't seen Holland in a while. Outfielders, they got paint all over their back. They're up against the wall so quick. You can see it. They're deep. They don't want any doubles or anything. Get to the ball quickly so you can't let Hosmer score.
One and two. Drop down a little bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of righties are going to swing at that just because of the trick, of the angle. Surprise.
LaRoche bobbles, and he was not aware of the runner. He had time to go back to the bag if he wanted to, so maybe that evens out the missed call at first base. The Royals get a break as Billy is safe on an error.
Breaks at this time of the game turn into wins. Hopefully that's the case. LaRoche, he's a Gold Glover, one of the best, the best fielder in the National League last year, and not much has changed this year. That was tricky. It had a lot of spin on it, but he thought that the pitcher Craig Stammen would have been there, and Stammen stopped. I don't know why he didn't just keep coming. Can't assume the first baseman's got to stop and make that play. LaRoche thought he was going to be there, so it's all on Stammen, not on LaRoche.
And they've actually scored it a single. Official score recognizing all the spin on the ball. So 2 outs and nobody on, a walk and an infield single, and a big chance for Mike Moustakas. He singled and scored back in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. Just outside with a breaking ball.
I got a feeling he's going to hit it hard. You just hope it's not at somebody. He's having a day. He's been on the ball. Look at the average. Another next hit gets him over 240. It's coming on.
Outside, 2-0.
Don't want it.
Three and 0. And Moustakas' credit, he is not getting caught up in the moment and trying to do something with an unhittable pitch.
No, and that's a good point, Ryan. He's not trying to do it all himself now. However, 3-0, I'm sure he'll have a green light if it's something he likes, but why try to do it not on your terms? Let Salvi take over with the bases loaded.
3-1.
That's right. Make him do it again.
He is hitting .239, but since the All-Star break, .306.
Yeah, and he looks really comfortable right here. Hopefully it pays off for him. He's already got one hit in the game. That's his first time up.
Did he go? No swing, so he walks. So 3 straight runners with 2 outs. And that sets the stage for Salvador Perez. We'll have to wait a while as pitching coach Steve McCaddy is going to go out and have a visit with Craig Stammen and talk about what they want to do with Perez. Very little room for error with the bases loaded.
Very nice plate appearance by Moose. He only got 1 pitch to hit, and that was a 3-0. McCaddy saying, hey, look, let's use your defense. Keep the ball down.
He already has 1 big hit today.
That's why he wants to keep the ball down. That big hit was elevated by Herron. The only inning where Herron was off was in that first inning where the Royals scored 4 on him. And Salvador put a big shot into that one, big charge.
One of the best in the league with runners in scoring position, and there are 2 in scoring position. And Stammen throws a slider for a strike.
That's his best pitch. That's what he'll go with.
Just inside.
Salvi, he doesn't too much swing out of his ability. He stays short to the ball. That's what he wants here. Nice and short. Go right to it, wherever it's pitched.
Very good at keeping the ball to the big part of the field with men in scoring position. And there's a line drive backhanded by Desmond. He throws to third, but Zimmerman wasn't there. Royals take the lead 5-4 in the 8th inning.
There's another break. Maybe the tide is turning for the Royals back to the winning category again. Get back in that column any way you can. A couple of bobbles by some fielders. Ball hit well. All of a sudden, the third baseman, Zimmerman, he became a spectator. He didn't realize that they could go to the base and get it out there. You can't assume in baseball. You got to be ready. Nice job by Billy Butler getting there. Get Holland in the game.
Now David Lowe. He drives in one. Moustakis to the plate, and he will be thrown out. But David Lowe makes it a 2-run inning as he comes through again with a 2-out RBI. And now Greg Holland has 2 runs to work with as he comes on for the top of the 9th.
Baltimore blasts Oakland. J.J. Hardy with his 23rd home run. Jordan Danks with the go-ahead pinch hit home run. We've seen that here before. And it is 5-2 over Texas. 1-1 Toronto and Houston in the 9th. And L.A. and Seattle just underway. Jared Weaver taking on Aaron Harang. Our Mazda game break heads to Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Florida, and Evan Longoria, his 28th on the season. And that game right now, 2-2. Hey, go play 20 innings before they come here. Coming up after the game on Boulevard Royals Live, Jeff Montgomery will break down the pitching matchup of former Angels teammates. And we'll hear from Ned Yost, Royals players, and hopefully the end of the losing streak. Ryan?
All right, Joel. Well, we're off to a good start with Greg Holland on the mound, who is 34 out of 36 in save opportunities, and he has saved his last 27. Nationals have the top of the order, and Denard Span into left center field, and that drops in front of Gerard Dyson, and that would be a 4-hit game for Denard Span.
Yep, I talked to him when he first got here before the 3-game series, and he talked about how much fun he likes playing here. He loves it, and he's showing it.
Vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. David Lowe with yet another 2-out RBI, his 20th of the year.
Crazy,
Royals
huh?
got 2 in the 8th. Now here's a motivated player. Ryan Zimmerman probably feels if he's more heads up in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Royals did not score in that inning. There was a bobble at first base. There was also a missed call that did not go the Royals' way. Zimmerman down 0-2.
So good to see Greg Holland out there. Man, 7-game losing streak. We didn't even see him. Good for him to get out there and execute that mid-90s fastball to upper 90s. Split finger slider combination. Ryan likes to refer to as a splider. Work it.
That stayed high, 1-2. Last save for Greg Holland was a week ago Friday. He saved both games of a day-night doubleheader in Detroit. Second time he's done that this year. Also did it in Boston. Greg Holland becoming the first pitcher in Royals history to save both games of a doubleheader more than once. And the 27 consecutive saves, that's the second longest in Royals history. Joakim Soria 3 years ago saved 36 in a row. There it is. Zimmerman introduced to the splider, and down he goes.
Because, you know, I really couldn't tell you if that was a split finger or a slider. Could you?
No.
And neither can anybody. Okay, now, that's the only way we can tell. Is when you freeze it, he's on the side of the ball, tells me he has a slider.
And it brings up Bryce Harper, who has driven in 6 in this series.
Watch out for this guy. He's dangerous. And you know what, Ryan? He's tall, he's big, and his hands are thick. A lot bigger than I thought he was when I went down and met him. He's a big kid, this guy, Harper. Great inside-out swing on Irvin Santana for that home run to tie it. He's strong.
1-1. His home run in the 7th inning completed the Nationals' comeback after being down 4-0. Just outside, 100 miles an hour.
He's strong. Well rested. Nice heat out here. That heat's good too. Body gets nice and loose.
.99 and just outside, 3-1. He's just missing.
Pretty good eye for a young player like that.
Similar to Mike Moustakas in the bottom of the 8th, not getting caught up in the moment here and swinging at pitches outside of the strike zone. Got that call.
Okay, and I asked Harper today, how do you respond to the crowds? And he said, I love it when they boo me. I was shocked with that response. But look at that pitch. Ooh, razor's edge. I love it when they boo me. From a 21-year-old kid who's already experienced the boos and the jeers.
Fastball, 99 miles an hour. So Holland comes back from 3-1. 2 down in the 9th inning.
I don't care how young you are or how talented. Chances of you hitting a ball that velocity elevated like that are nil. 0. Nice ball right by him. Good crowd here at the K. They're vocal. They want to see Holland and this young Royals team come out of their swoon they've been in here.
In for a strike to Worth, who is singled and walked, 1 for 3. Oh, and 2. On the ground, past Moustakas, and Worth puts the bat on the ball with the count 0-2 and keeps the inning alive.
Moose is guarding the line. Didn't have a chance to get to it. If he was in normal depth, he makes that play. And I'll tell you, with the power that these guys have now coming through here, ooh, wouldn't you know it? He's got to go through the meat of the order.
Well, the guy with 3 home runs, Span, singled. He has struck out a hitter with 15 home runs, 17 home runs in this inning. Worth with 19 home runs has singled, and now Desmond with 19 home runs. And on deck, LaRoche with 18 home runs. As that pitch stays high, ball 1. Desmond hit a home run off the Royals Hall of Fame back in the 4th inning. He's homered twice in the series. 2 singles, 2 strikeouts against Greg Holland in the 9th. Late on the fastball.
And you know, if you're a hitter right now, you've got to be able to sit on that fastball. You can't look anything else. Until you get 2 strikes, you know, you got to be hacking, and ready to gear up for it.
One and 2. Down to their last strike again.
They're not going easy. Been impressed how Washington's finishing up their 10-day, 10-game road trip.
Struck him out. Struck out the side, and Greg Holland has saved 28 in a row. And the losing streak is history.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, nice to see him in the win column again. In 1 game over 500. Come on, fellas. Those Rays get in this airspace tomorrow or this evening whenever they come in for that makeup game. Show your fangs and keep it going. Don't let them come into your territory. I love it. Holland, really fantastic stuff. Triple digits we've seen out of him. That split finger was nice, but the 4th play of the game, we're giving it to Holland. Why not? Haven't seen him in a while. That splitter was unhittable. The fastball was located. He was strong, and he's the guy to go to. So nice that Royals offense could get him a couple runs for that ninth inning. Tremendous job of finishing him off.
And like they were when they were really on a roll, the Royals taking full advantage of some breaks in the 8th inning. After the Nationals tied the game at 4 in the 7th, the Royals get 2 in the 8th and take the final game 6-4. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
All right, it is good to be down on the field after a Royals win, and joined right now by Eric Hosmer. And, well, it took a lot of battling back and forth as it's been lately. How much of a relief just to finally see that W up on the board?
Big relief. The offense came through late in the game with some timely hitting right there, and Greg's been doing what he's been doing all year. Came in and shut the door, and the bullpen did a phenomenal job, and we got some timely hits at the end.
It's been obviously a rough homestand, and you guys in playoff contention and haven't been able to get the results you've wanted. How have you been able to stay positive and keep trying to get this win coming back to the park every day?
Especially playing at home with the crowd, the energy behind you guys, and we're out there fighting until the last pitch every day, and we're not done, and no one's packing it in by any means. We still got another run left in us, and we're gonna play this thing strong to the end.
And what about bouncing back in this one? You had to feel really good about what you were able to do against Dan Herron early. Then he seemed to find his stuff, and I know how much you believe in Irvin Santana. Suddenly you're looking up at a tie game. What's the mindset at that point?
That's a good lineup over there. Bryce put a good swing on that ball and tied the game, but like we said, we answered as an offense, and the bullpen came and held them right there. So overall, it was a good team win, and this is a big one for us. And come back tomorrow, get Tampa, and keep this thing rolling.
All right, great job today, and good luck against the Rays tomorrow.
All right, thanks, guys.
Eric Hosmer had that big walk in the last inning there in the 8th and ended up scoring a run, had the homer earlier in the game. Guys, let's go back up to you.
All right, thank you, Joel. So the Royals put an end to their losing streak, and they snap the Nationals' 5-game winning streak with a 6-4 win today. We'll be right back.